Hey dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a few things that I want to talk about. I have some new theories and some thoughts on this. Something maybe will provide a little bit of clarity, but these are just my theories and my thoughts. I kind of just pieced everything together. So yes, Jungkook talked about disbanding in BTS. Tragic, I know. We will also talk about some of the big changes that BigHit is going through right now, and of course what this means for BTS and BigHit and all that. If you are new here and you're interested in this type of stuff, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified anytime a new video drops. And if you're a hater, like to be the first to leave your hate comment, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also so you can be the first to do so. Now, let's jump into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is, of course, Jungkook talking about the disbandment of BTS. And then I want to talk about like how he felt about it. Not great, obviously. If you don't know what happened, I will fill you in as per usual. If you haven't heard already, BTS has a docuseries called Break the Silence. Boy, are they breaking the silence. If you shorten Break the Silence, it spells out BTS. They talk about a lot of the behind the scenes kind of moments. These moments are from their previous tours and moments that they've cut out from other documentaries. You get moments where they might have felt sad or angry or whatever emotion that they're going through that day, and then they kind of sit down and talk about why they were feeling that way. They go into detail about some of these moments, and sometimes they even go into moments where they were hurt and they talk about how they felt during that moment, stuff like that. This is obviously great for us ARMYs to kind of peer into their life and see everything that they're going through, because sometimes we don't actually know what they're going through. You can see them crying and never know exactly why they were crying, but a lot of these moments were kind of answered in the Break the Silence documentary. Anything you can think of for the past few years. It's very raw and real, and I think that's what they wanted it to be. We get to see their emotions and their struggles, and boy, were there some emotional struggles. Like most people in this field, it's not easy. It has been especially not easy for BTS, as they obviously have to deal with things like racism and probably just the overall pressure of being BTS, one of the biggest boy bands in the world. Jungkook opened up about these struggles and talked about it in the docuseries. The main thing he spoke about and the main fear that he has was when he talked about the possibility of BTS disbanding, and this was of course back in 2018. There are rumors of BTS disbanding, and I don't believe anything was confirmed at the time. I believe people were just kind of speculating. But how some of these sites already knew, I'll never know. They got the good paparazzi. But apparently it was a conversation that BTS was having internally. When Jungkook sat down to kind of talk about this moment and how they were feeling and why this happened, Jungkook said, "What if BTS suddenly disbands? What could I do by myself? When I thought about it, I realized I have nothing. There's not much I can do." When I heard that, my reaction, I was just like, Cookie, come on. He most definitely doesn't have nothing. Like nothing. He's seriously so talented. If BTS was no more and Jungkook still wanted to sing and dance, he could obviously start a solo career. I honestly don't even think he'd have to try that long before he reaches the success that BTS reaches. And of course, ARMYs will always be there to support. Jungkook also continues by saying, "Whenever I think about it, I worry a lot. Sometimes when I'm alone, there are times when I feel overwhelming fear washing over me." I mean, I can speak for every ARMY to say that's all of our overwhelming fears. I mean, it's one thing to end because you're getting older and that's the thing to do, and that's what you need to do for your physical health. But I think I figured out the reason why they wanted to end it and why they talked about disbanding and all that stuff, so we'll get into that definitely later. Jungkook continued to say that he felt like all the members were like family and best friends to him. He talks about how they've always been there for him, and they've probably experienced some of the coolest and feelings ever together. I mean, they've also all cried on stage together, so I can imagine the overwhelming feeling that they have. I imagine all of their bonds are extremely strong. They all say that they love each other so much. I think that this is the reason why, after all these years together, that not a single member has thought, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave and do some solo work and then actually leave. I mean, a lot of boy bands start feeling like this, like the members individually feel like they can do it themselves, and then they want to start a solo career and leave the boy group. And this usually happens just as the popularity of the boy group starts to gain popularity. I mean, if BTS disbanded actually in 2018, they would not have created this like amazing BTS storm that they created in 2019. I mean, 2019 was huge for them. However, this obviously happens a lot with boy groups, right? Like they end up not liking each other and then they end up leaving. But this doesn't seem like the case with BTS. So why did they want to break up? That was the actual question that I had that I was like looking answers for. We know that Jin previously did discuss on a Mama Award. Jin discussed how they all had a very hard time mentally at the end of last year, meaning 2018. And thus, because of that, they started thinking about disbanding. They obviously found it very difficult to make music if their mental health isn't well. Obviously, they can't perform if their mental health isn't well. But I gotta say, all right, when your mental health ain't great, that's when you make the best music. Not just BTS, anybody. But being completely honest, mental health and health in general comes first. Like, why not just take a break? Why not take half a year off, recover from your mental health? ARMYs will be even more excited when you actually do end up coming back. Suga actually revealed in this particular Break the Silence episode that the outro Tears song in the Love Yourself album was actually the song that was talking about disbandment. And the outro was supposed to symbolize the outro of the album, meaning that the group is over. I don't know if they mentioned this, but this is my theory, is that initially the Love Yourself album was supposed to be their last album. Taeyang was talking about how he felt sad before the Love Yourself tour, and then when he did it, he realized why he did it and why he likes being a singer and why he likes all of this. I assume the other members started to feel the same way, and they began to be happier, their mental health started getting better, and then they started enjoying what they were actually doing, and none of this disbandment talk. Nasty thoughts, get rid of it. I definitely wanted to hop on the old Tweetster and see what people were saying. One particular army wrote this. When Jungkook said, "What if BTS suddenly disband? I really lost it." I know, this was so sad when I saw it. Like, why does he feel this way? I honestly don't think he would be screwed if BTS was over. Like, he can literally go take his money and go do a business, or even just continue as a solo artist. But like, he shouldn't even be worried about that. He should be focusing on the fact that he is in one of the biggest boy groups right now. Like, enjoy that feeling. Enjoy being on top of the world right now. I think it's really humbling that Jungkook feels this way, even though he is so big. And especially since he could just walk around and act like he is better than everybody. Say things like, "Hey, I'm better than you." And you know what? If he said that to me, I would turn to him and I'd say, "I know, Daddy," and then throw rose petals on the floor as he walks. That's how all rich people act, right? But the simple fact that he doesn't act like that, but is worried over the fact that BTS might be over, that really shows how down to earth he is. I literally don't have to worry about BTS being a bad influence. I know that they'll be a good one for many, many years to come. Another Twitter user wrote this. "This is why Bangtan needs to promote as solo artists as well, and the company needs to help them build themselves as individual artists, because Jungkook literally said if BTS were to disband, he would have anything left." I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily true. If Koreans don't know BTS members' names individually, they at least still know BTS's faces. So if Jungkook performs or does anything like that, I'm pretty sure the Koreans who don't know who Jungkook is will still look at that and say, "Hey, isn't that the guy from BTS?" I honestly don't think Jungkook has anything to worry about. His face is literally everywhere. He's in magazines as the handsomest man alive. If this disbandment were to happen, Jungkook wouldn't have nothing. Also, I don't think BigHit would just like drop him. I think BigHit will keep him there, still promote him, and keep him as a good artist and have him do work. You know, I think he'd find work. I think one day in the far, far future, BTS will have their last show, and I think Jungkook did hint that it won't be until way, way in the future. Hopefully when they're old and they have to retire, and retire because they want to go enjoy life. They want to get married, all that stuff, not because they're mentally not okay. I don't want to hear them retiring because of mental health problems. I hope they will announce it like a year before they end up actually leaving, and that I hope that when they announce it, everyone is aware that it's going to happen. Like, it'll be less sad if we're all aware that BTS is going to break up. You know, so it ends gracefully. Like, the period ends up having like an actual conclusion. Similar to like when a 10-year TV show ends, and the last few episodes, they're pretty much telling you, okay, this is gonna end. But yeah, I don't think hopefully this will be happening anytime soon, or at least for many, many years. We shouldn't focus too much on that. We know for a fact that they'll always be best friends, they'll always treat each other like family, they'll always be friends together. And most importantly, they will not hate each other, and BTS will not end because they hate each other. There's big chances that they will come together and create music again one day if they end because they don't hate each other. Because why wouldn't they, right? They'll eventually have a reunion. I definitely found that interesting. It was definitely something that I constantly kept thinking about. I even dreamt about it. But yeah, I feel better. Got it all out of my system. Got my thoughts out there. But BigHit is actually making a lot of changes recently that I've seen on the news. The first one is kind of boring, so I won't get into it too much. But they're apparently going public, which means you can buy their stock, you can invest in the company. Which I mean, I would love to. I mean, I would probably make a lot of money. But the other more interesting thing, more thing that you can relate to, is that they've recently been buying other entertainments. One of them is Pledis Entertainment. So BigHit ends up owning the groups that Pledis owns. I don't know if they own all of the groups or how much BigHit ends up owning Pledis, but I'm sure it's a large amount. So now BigHit apparently owns NU'EST and 17, which I'm a fan of 17, which hopefully means better things, right? Maybe like a bigger budget, could mean like better comebacks, stuff like that. That's good to like hope for if you're a multi-stan. But I honestly don't know officially what it could mean or what BigHit's plans are for owning these groups. Like, I would imagine BTS probably takes up BigHit's time mostly, right? Like 90% of their time. BTS literally has a comeback while they're having a comeback. So how much time is going to go into these other groups? I don't know. But the good news is, since BigHit owns some of these boy groups, that these boy groups now have no competition. Like, pretty much every single boy group has to compete with BTS now. But if they're in the same label, BigHit is probably not going to schedule a comeback when BTS has a comeback. That could mean more breaks for BTS too, since they have to let the other boys come back. And then that could mean more comebacks for groups like 17. You'll almost notice that like when BTS has a comeback, nobody has a comeback for that week. It's scary. How you gonna compete with Big Daddy? Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it down in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm featuring this comment right here. Thank you so much for leaving comments. And as always, I do have a Patreon. If you want to go over there and check out my Patreon, you can contribute anything you want over there and really help give back to this channel. Anything you can contribute over there really does help me kind of keep the videos going on here, make them better, all that stuff. So thank you so much for doing that. You can also get exclusive content over there, such as music video reactions, ship reactions, performance reactions, all that stuff on my Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can check that out. Please make sure you check that out. It means the world to me. You'll also have 2 videos that will pop up on the screen at the end of this video. So make sure you click on one of those videos and I'll see you over there. Bye.